In today's lesson, I'm going to give you 3 tips. That's right, three tips to help you improve your English and to improve your understanding of English vocabulary. Tip 1. Use context clues. So what do we mean by context clues? Well, if you're reading or you're listening to something in English, there are always going to be words that maybe you don't understand, right? That's normal. But there is a little technique that you can use, and this is my tip for you, is to use what we call context clues. So here's a brief description of what we mean by context. The parts of something written or spoken that immediately precede and follow a word or passage and clarify its meaning. Now that's a pretty wordy description, but what it basically means is that if we look at the words before and after the word we don't understand, sometimes we can kind of guess the meaning of the word that we don't know because those other words give us information or give us clues about the word we don't know. Let's take an example. So if you look at this sentence, you'll see it says, the blank is beautiful. It's sunny and hot. This is a pretty simple sentence, but you can see there's a word missing. Now, if we look at the words after the missing word, we can make a guess about what that word is. So, we can see whatever that word is, it's something that's beautiful. Well, I mean, there are lots of things that are beautiful, so that kind of helps us a little bit, but not too much. But the other words, that it's sunny and hot, well, that gives us a lot of information about what the word is that's missing. Sunny and hot is kind of specific for weather. And so we can have a very good guess that the word that's missing in this sentence is the word weather. The weather is beautiful, it's sunny and hot. Now, of course, we can use this same idea of context and looking for context clues in any sentence. Here are a few other examples. See if you can guess the word that's missing. That's tip number 1. Now, tip number 2. So tip 2 is a really simple tip. The tip is just to use your own background knowledge. That means that any information that you have about a subject that you already know in your own language, you apply that to your understanding of English. So let's say, for example, that you've seen on the news about a big storm. Well, when you see words like hurricane or wind or destruction or tornado. Now, maybe you don't know exactly what these words mean, but from your background knowledge, if you've seen some news or a story about a storm, you can kind of guess what these words might mean. Tip 3. So tip 3 is looking at the grammatical structure of a word. So you see a new word and you don't know exactly what it means. Well, that's kind of normal. But if you can identify the type of word, the part of speech, if it's a verb, an adjective, an adverb, a noun, well, that can help you to kind of understand better what that word might mean. Well, how can you do that in English? Well, a lot of the time, if you can identify the parts of the word that tell you its grammatical structure, that can really help. So let's take, for example, an adverb. Now, adverbs in English are describing words, and they often describe a verb or an activity. Now, how do you know a word is an adverb? Well, many times, not always, but many times, if you look at the end of the word, you'll see the letters L and Y, right? So those letters L and Y often tell us that the word is an adverb. So if we know that the word is an adverb, we kind of know what the word's doing, and we know that the word is describing something. Let's look at an example. So in the sentence, he walked awkwardly on his sprained ankle. Now, the word awkwardly, we might not know that word, but if we look at it, we know it's an adverb, and we know it's describing how you walk. Now, if we take together tip 1, which if you remember, tip 1 was using context clues, right? If we take the context clue of sprained ankle, right? If we know an ankle and a sprained ankle means that you've got like a problem, like with your ankle and it's hurting you. And then we put that together with the awkwardly describing how you walk. Well, how you walk when you sprain your ankle, that kind of gives us a pretty good idea of what the word awkwardly is going to mean. So there you have it. 3 tips to help you improve your English language skills, and especially to get a better understanding in your listening and your reading comprehension skills. Naturally, you can't know all words in English. So using these 3 tips can really help you to improve your understanding of spoken and written English. So let's just go through those 3 tips one more time. Remember, tip 1, use context clues. Look at the words before and after the word you don't understand to help give you some understanding of what that word can mean. Tip 2 was to use your background knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge, so you know a lot about things in the world. Use that knowledge to help you understand the English words that you don't know. And finally, tip 3 was to use those grammatical structures. If you can identify what kind of word it is by looking at the structure of the word, if it has an ly, it might be an adverb. If you can look at a word and identify that it's a noun, or that it's a verb, or that it's an adjective, this is really going to help you, because then if you look at the word and if you're maybe using the context clues as well, you can easily identify more or less what the word means. You might not be perfect, but at least you're going to have a really good idea of what that word means without having to go to your dictionary and find the meaning. That's it for today's lesson. I hope you can go out and use these 3 tips. I promise you, they're really, really important, and you'll notice automatically once you start using these tips just how useful they are to help improve your listening skills and your reading skills. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the lesson, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of these kind of lessons, click to subscribe.